we need to talk about rage baiting in the beauty industry. You're being manipulated. Rage baiting is essentially internet gaslighting. It's creating content that purposely enrages people so that they interact with it. They are mad or upset about something in a video or a piece of content, and that prompts them to comment, to say something, or to share something, which inevitably boosts engagement because the algorithm sees, oh my gosh, this post has 4,000 comments. This must be good content, and then the algorithm promotes it. I have been feeling like this is taking over my feed, especially when I open up TikTok. And I feel like it's been getting worse and worse because it's performing better and better. Someone needs to save us from the internet. Now, this is specifically happening in areas like food and fashion and parenting, but I really want to speak about it in regards to the beauty industry, because I think that there's some that is harmless and funny if you're in on the joke, whereas on the extreme side, it's absolutely destructive. I feel like us as the viewers should understand what's happening so that we can actually make conscious consumer decisions and not just be manipulated into either buying something or engaging with something that then someone else is going to buy based on this feeling of anger or fear. I think that rage baiting can be broken down into three categories. The first is what I call understated. For example, where someone does purposefully really bad makeup or pronounces something wrong or spells something wrong on purpose just to get that engagement, but overall it's not majorly harming themselves or others. A little bit more extreme is what I would call medium. It's these videos where people are purposely cutting open or destroying their own products, or threatening to cut off their own hair without actually doing it, or specifically using a product to the point that it breaks and being wasteful. And then there is what I call extreme. And these are things that hurt people, themselves, or others. Or doing things like blackface. Sometimes you're just like, you know what, I've had enough internet for today. So let's start off with the understated. Things like purposefully misspelling a word, or purposefully saying something incorrectly and mispronouncing it, or even like doing your makeup wrong. This is rage bait that can kind of slide under the radar, and you have to ask yourself like, okay, was this on purpose or was it just a mistake? For example, there's this one girl who rubs foundation all over her face. She started doing this content back in 2021 or 2022, and I actually enjoyed a lot of her tutorials. And at the time, I didn't know whether or not it was rage bait. And even in recent videos, she's posted this is how she does her foundation. So again, it's kind of this category of, is it on purpose or is it not? Another example could be things like misusing a product like Selena Gomez's blush. And I'm actually guilty of this, not because I was trying to rage bait, but because I didn't understand how to use the product. And I used way too much because it's so pigmented. But some people seem to purposefully be taking this to the next level, where they're literally covering their entire face in it. They're saying, trust me, it works, and saying it gives you like a glow from within, and then just using foundation on top. And it ends up looking normal. But is this actually how they do their foundation every day? In the beauty industry, there's a lot of people that have brands and products, and they want to actively sell those things. And for that influencer, person, or brand that is doing the rage baiting, they see increased views. Yes, they see increased hate, but they often also see an increase in ad revenue and an increase in their videos' reach. People like you or me will watch this and think, oh, this is how we're doing our makeup these days. Let me try it. Oh, it's legit. She tried this. I'm gonna try this. Brands are loving it because people are wasting product and going through it quicker. You have to look at some of these and say, is this purposeful or is this just a bad technique, a wasteful technique that you can end up making work? However, if people are purposely creating misleading, fraudulent content using rage bait, it just kind of becomes this endless consumption of really shitty content that doesn't make you think twice, that doesn't improve your life in any way. It makes me feel really crappy. And that's why I think that even the understated rage bait still needs to be called out.
Hi, I'm gonna call you the f out quickly, listen up.
Then we have the medium rage baiting. And this is the category that I include product destruction in, when someone is purposefully destroying a product or misusing it. For example, there were these MAC lip glosses that everyone was using and breaking. And a lot of people started reacting to these influencers purposefully breaking these products and saying, hey, it's actually not that hard to use, you don't have to break it. And this is an example where MAC, the makeup brand, really benefited. All these influencers wanted to go out and buy these products, these juicy tubes. They were selling out, so they were hard to get their hands on. Everyone wanted to try. Those were not MAC's best product. They weren't that great. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. But they went viral because of rage bait. Another example, someone pretending to cut their hair. This girl is doing a get ready with me, and she pretends to cut her hair, and then she starts cutting open her foundation. This isn't like she was at the end of her foundation and trying to get every last drop and be economical. No, she's like pouring a whole bottle of foundation, opening it from the back with a pair of scissors, and then wiping it on her face, and then rubbing it on her shirt. and ruining a perfectly good white t-shirt that's probably going to end up in landfill if it can't be cleaned, along with the rest of that half of that bottle that was just wasted. Now, that's very different than being at the very end of your foundation tube and cutting open the end and scooping out the remainder. And no hate to this content creator, I love that she shares her get ready with me, but it's obviously rage baiting. And if you're aware of that and you're in on the joke, it's kind of funny. But this has obviously garnered hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of likes, hundreds of comments, and this is pushing this creator further in the algorithm. For these first two categories, it feels harmless, right? But we do have to touch on the extreme. And again, the extreme is the stuff that I have a really hard time with. I don't want to say it shouldn't be on the internet because I do believe in freedom of speech, but there are a lot of things where it should not be actively promoted in an algorithm. And these are things that hurt people, themselves, or others, or perpetuate extraordinarily harmful rhetoric such as racism. And this is just one example with Euphoria's deepest shade.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Euphoria foundation? T, you can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle. This is jet black face paint, and this is the darkest shade of the Euphoria Date Night foundation. This is the darkest shade 600, and as you guys can see in the bottle, literally jet black. The shade right next to it is shade 590. This is what it looks like in the bottle. Here is shade 600. You guys, there could be like 10 more shades in between these two shades.
The darkest shade really wasn't a foundation shade. It didn't have undertones the way that every single skin tone has.
If you look here at the bottom of the ingredient list, you'll notice 3 different colors, red and yellow iron oxides. Pretty much the only colors you need to make a lighter shade of foundation. But then if we look at their darkest shade, here there's only one pigment, CI77499, which is just black iron oxide.
That's all it was. If you're creating a foundation that's not even a foundation, it doesn't even have undertones and it doesn't even match people, tell me you didn't even bother looking at skin tones? Tell me you didn't even bother hiring a black model to shade match with without telling me, right? But again, the reason why this works, people are buying it just to test it, and it's making the brand a lot of money. Well, that brand rage baiting aside, this is one example of rage bait that actually enraged me. I was pissed off. This person decided to essentially do blackface. Another creator, I'm so grateful, called him out and said, listen, if he really wanted to show the difference between black foundations, he could have swatched them on his hand. He didn't have to do blackface. And in his actual video, he specifically states that he loves internet drama, and this is like a way for him to capitalize on it.
I literally only put this on and like recorded it because I knew that like this specific shade was going super viral.
So he's literally telling you his intentions to go viral and stoke anger in the comments right there. That is what pisses me the off. Should we be saying something? Should we be engaging with this rage bait and doing what the creator hopes it's going to do? Or should we just move along? If someone sees this in their feed who's young and impressionable and thinks this is normal or okay to do and they don't understand how hurtful this can be, yeah, that's a problem. If we just move on, other people are going to be baited by that video. They're going to comment underneath it. They're going to share it and be outraged, and it's still going to go viral because it is offensive either way. Because at least that way, when other people are reading the comments, this could be brought to their attention and they could start to learn from that. And as someone who's really struggled a lot growing up with social situations, and there's a lot of stuff that goes right over my head, I miss the mark a little more often than I'd like to admit. So when someone points something out in the comments, it can actually be really helpful for me. Oh, that's a metaphor? Oh, okay. So at this point, when I see rage bait in my feed, I actually call it out. And I try to do it kindly because I'm not trying to hurt a content creator, because I'm not trying to start a fight in the comments. I don't know, is that the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? What do you think? And on the flip side, I'm also commenting on the non-rage bait videos when something actually worked for me. There are creators like Monica who got me to try the Everyday Human sunscreen, and I fell in love with it. I actually make the intention to go out and comment on her video saying thank you so much for helping me find this product that I loved. I don't mind people telling me and honestly reviewing products and things that may or may not work for me, or that as an esthetician I should be aware of. But I do draw the line when people try to manipulate me into buying things. No, you're not gonna get my money. Absolutely not. Or even worse, manipulating young, impressionable people to buy or consume things that they don't need that are harmful for them. And that is where I think rage bait becomes extraordinarily dangerous, especially when brands get their hands on this, because it's being used to manipulate people, and it just shows that these algorithms are trying their best to prioritize what people want. It's doing it wrong because we don't have a way to gauge what's called audience sentiment. Anyways, thanks for engaging in this conversation with me. I'm excited to see your responses and thoughts on this in the comments. At least for now, I think you should call out the rage bait when you see it. Send it to me. Send it to me. How about you do that? Send me the rage bait on Instagram, because maybe we could do a part 2 of this. Please subscribe. Please like the video or share it with a friend, because that actually shows the algorithm, hey, this was valuable to me. Always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I hope you know what I mean when I say be beautiful, because again, that's why this channel exists. But most importantly, know that I love you. And again, I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.